Welcome to the hottest grappling show in Arizona. The Valley is home to an amazing grappling community. Join us as we roll through the top jiu-jitsu schools in the state. Our goal? To highlight incredible instructors, their academies, and their amazing journeys through life and jiu-jitsu. It's not the destination, it's the journey that counts. Welcome to Rollin Through the Valley. Zill's here, rolling through the valley. Here we are at Ric Centron BJJ, and with me is Ric Centron.
How's it going?
Did I say your name right?
You
Hopefully
did.
I did.
You
Okay.
did. You did.
I always panic because I'm like,
no
I gotta get it right.
No, I got you.
Really nice name, by the way. It reminds me of like an action, like a superhero or something, right?
So my students say it's like Centron is like Megatron, like a transformer or something. So
yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago. I moved out here 8 years ago. I used to live in Arizona for a little bit. Then I moved back to Chicago, but and I was like, you're crazy. What are you doing? So I moved back out here again with the goal of doing this, right? So it was great. It's been great. The past 8 years, I've met the coolest people out here. I used to work full-time and do this part-time, and now it's reversed. I do this full-time, so
nice.
I've been blessed.
That's really cool. So tell us a little bit about your journey of just like starting a school, because I know that's such a big deal. Like, congratulations on owning a school in this day and age, right? It's hard. And so tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did it happen for you? Did you know that you always wanted to open up a school?
Yeah. So, it's when I first started, I think it was, I first started jiu-jitsu. I was already doing judo. And one of my instructors was like, you should come learn some of this newaza with jiu-jitsu. Like, all right, I'll go try it out, And it was awesome. I went in, I was like, oh, these guys start standing too. Like, it's just same thing, They're both almost, they're cousins, right? Mm-hmm. So he's a black belt now too in Chicago. He's awesome. He actually got me into tournaments. He got me in everything. It's like we were both white belts together, and just he's like 5'3", and like half my weight, and just armbarred me like left and right. And I'd throw him, and all of a sudden there he threw up an armbar. I'm like, I need to learn this stuff. So and within like the month being in jiu-jitsu, I was like, I want to do this like the rest of my life. Like, I need to find a way. And that was about 15, 16 years ago. I was like, wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to do it. So yeah, and that was my goal when I came out here. I was training in Chicago, and then moving out here, a friend of mine, he's my best friend, and he actually teaches morning classes with me. He said, hey man, you got a talent for this. Like, if you move out here, we got to follow your dream. I was like, yeah, let's do it. He'd always remind me, he's like, you're working, because same thing, like, people have a passion and you'd like to make your job a passion, or vice versa, you want your passion to be your job, but then you have to go to work every day, and like you're dreading going to work sometimes, and you're just like, ugh, and he was just like, hey, you haven't met your dream yet. You got to keep working. You got to keep pushing through. Like, so he like kept me on my toes, and then finally it happened. Like, it was March of 2021. They said we didn't have to wear the masks anymore, and like right after COVID, I was so nervous because like like, were they going to mandate the masks again? Or you never knew. Like, it was one thing or another. And my coach at the time, like Carlos, he was just like, hey, you got to do it, man. This is your dream. Do you want to do it? You got to follow it now. Let's go. Like, now's the time.
So he pushed you to do it. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was that push, you know, that you know you want to do something, but you need that, like, that little voice saying you can do it.
Especially that's your instructor.
Boom. Yeah.
So that's like, sometimes you need that, like, person to believe in you, right? Especially like an instructor that's like, that if my instructor said you can do something, I can automatically do it. Like some way, somehow, like I just, you know, you find it in you to like make it happen. Yep. So that's awesome.
So and then we started small and we just outgrew it and now we're here. So. Really
cool and really nice space. So
thank you.
You have the mat area, but you also have a recovery area.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, we used to compete all the time. We'd go out. We went to Europe. We'd compete out here. You know, we'd always give each other suggestions. We're always thinking, like, he's the one that also said, like, when he first met me, I think I was a purple belt at the time, and he was a white belt. He's like, you need your own gym. I was like, that's my goal, man. Yeah. Thanks. So we were on a flight to Rome, and we were doing Europeans, and we were just like, it's a long flight. So we started discussing stuff, and he's like, we need a place where we can have our training, get our butts kicked, and then go recover. I'm like, I know, but my spot isn't that big. And at the time, I was next door in a smaller spot. And I was like, where can we find a warehouse? You know, because a lot of gyms have these big warehouses and stuff. You're just like, oh my gosh, like, I want this one day, you know? So one thing led to another. This place opened up. I signed a lease for it. I jumped, you know, head in, and just a month after that, the place next door was up for lease too. And Eric came to help me out, moving stuff and like helping build this place. And he looked next door. He's like, we could do this. And he did. And we had a grand opening together in 2023. Mine was a grand opening. His was a grand opening. And we go use that place all the time now. Like, go in, do our cold plunges, go do the sauna, you know, our heat and cold contrast. That helped with my recovery and my shoulders. But yeah, so RiJIUJITSU, Eric, please come check it out if you guys have the time. It's a great place, and everybody that trains here goes there. We get, you know, because he's into jiu-jitsu too. Like we're kind of like have an agreement that we can, you know, get a discounted rate and everything. So, but it's been wonders. Everybody trains hard and they love it. They love it.
I mean, that's so key within jiu-jitsu. Like, it's so hard on your body. So recovery is a must. And so the fact that you have that, like, literally attached to the gym is everything. So that's cool.
Thank you.
Tell us how it was for you, because obviously you love jiu-jitsu, but like opening up a school and teaching is a whole different thing. It is not easy to teach. And so was it easy for you, like an easy transition for you to like start teaching everybody, or did it come with time, or like, tell us how that went for you?
So when I actually started teaching at Carlos's gym, Carlos Frias, I was doing his kids program, and before I left, I was teaching brand new white belts, right? Just the fundamentals and everything. So for a long time, I'd been teaching and I'd been coaching. So like even back when BJJ was in Phoenix College, like I was already coaching kids and everything. So transitioning to here, or like teaching for my own school, was pretty easy. It was pretty easy. I think the hardest part was more of like reading the parents. The kids, they have fun, you know. But you know, some parents are like, like to coach more than they should, and he's like, how do you say it like kindly to be like, hey, you know, let me, you know, with you saying one thing and I'm saying another thing.
Come try a class.
100%. 100%. I've had that. They're like, oh, I got a bad back. I'm like, or
so
hey, like my knees, you know, and I'm like, I get it. And then there's been parents that are like, oh, I will try it. And I tried, like, it's a little harder than I thought it was. Like, yeah, dude, you know, your kids are doing this every day. Like, you know, give them credit, man. Like, we got this.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially too, like, I always think like competitions, like the parents are screaming, like, do they even know what they're saying? It's like, oh my God.
That's the biggest thing is like making sure, like, you know, hey, should I listen to my instructor or should I listen to my mom and dad that are over here? Like, who
it's
do I
confusing
listen to?
for them.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I always tell the parents, like, just let me coach.
Right.
You know, we have the coaches here though.
Right.
They'll take care of business.
So jiu-jitsu teaches a lot of life lessons. What does jiu-jitsu mean to you? And how does it relate to life?
It's a lot. Jiu-jitsu, I mean, it's funny because I tell all my students, like, jiu-jitsu is everywhere. Like, everything you do, your next move, it's like you have to plan things out, you know. And I've never been much of a planner. Like, I'm a little unorganized, but at the same way, like, when I do jiu-jitsu and I have a curriculum and everything that I follow, that I've built, it's really, it helps out a lot because you start having to be organized. You're like, it's not only just you now that's just learning for yourself, like you're actually, like, people depend on you to teach them, you know, especially like the competitors that like to go out there and compete. It makes it harder, you know, because you want to make sure they do well. You want to make sure that they're confident that they know their things, you know, and I think it's taught me a lot about organization. It's taught me a lot about not giving up. Like, even, I hate the term like life coach, but like even when people come and ask you questions, like, or like they're down on the dumps and like, dude, it's just like being mounted. Like, what are you gonna do? You got to find a way out, you know, things of that nature. Like, there's always like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, just there's an escape for everything. You know, you have to find it. Right. You know, and it's going to be hard. Yeah. Nobody says it's easy. I mean, for God's sakes, like, my coach is very big, strong, heavy, and I'm underneath him, like, okay, I got to find a way to move, you know, or like last before I get tapped, you know. And it's like, it's just, you never really want to give up, you know. It's taught me a lot of that. Like, when something's hard, it just keep going, keep pushing. Like, you know, there's a way to fix things. There's always a way. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I go throughout life, I think of jiu-jitsu all the time, and I say, well, this is like jiu-jitsu. Like, there's ups and downs, and like, it's always there. It's always there. It's crazy.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's an out for a lot of people. Like, it's their to be like, it's kind of like a sanctuary for them. Like, it's a safe spot. So like, to me, I know that I tell my students all the time, when I'm here and I wipe my feet and I jump on the mat, like, nothing else in the world matters. Like, I could have a million problems outside of here, but this is my escape. I never even think about anything. I'm just
like,
when
you're
jiu-jitsu.
rolling, like, gosh, you're not thinking about anything else but the roll. So in a way, it's kind of like meditative, I should say. But for sure, I mean,
it's the only place where you have camaraderie and choke people out, you know, and then afterwards, like, hey man, that was a nice choke, you know. It's just, it's great. And then jump off the mats. Sometimes your mind is even clearer because it's just so foggy from so much stress. Like, it makes it better.
So we've seen you out in the competitions, and you guys do really well, by the way. Your students always crush it out there. And even last night, I was like, oh my God, these guys are killers. So you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
But what are your thoughts on competition, and do you think it's for everyone?
I think competition, I like competition. I've been out of the scene for a while. Back in 2019, my shoulders started, like, I wasn't able to use them and lost a lot of strength. And then I found out later on that I needed double shoulder replacement. So like, I couldn't comb my hair. I could barely take off my rash guard. Like I needed help to do all that. And then, but I'd like to go back into competition. I think that's here in the near future. I'm going to start jumping back in, and because it's a matter of challenging yourself. You know, I tell my students that all the time, like challenge yourself. Like you don't have to be a gym hero. Like you can beat people in the gym, and you know, you think, you know, so highly of yourself. Like go out there, experience with someone else that you've never rolled with before. Like, you know, it's big. Now, as far as it being for everybody, I think everyone should do a tournament just to like test themselves and see what it's like. I think everyone can do a tournament, but not everybody is. And you know, to each their own. But I think not everybody is like fit to do a tournament because of some people don't like to overcome it. But like I have social anxiety, and I get out there and I still do it. But some people are like, it's not for me. That's okay. You know, it's okay. But when you're here, you train really hard. You do a great job. It could be for hobbyists, but like I always tell people, like, try it. Just if you give it a try and you don't like it, well, you know what it's like though, you know? But if you don't, that's okay. Keep training. Like, it's good for you. It's self-defense. Like, it's still exercise. Like the benefits of jiu-jitsu are amazing, amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone can do it, but you just have to have the right mindset to do it too, because it's pushing yourself, like, you know, getting out of your comfort zone. That's a big thing, like, comfort zone. Like before doing this interview, I was like, you know, like, it's just, it's being just like jiu-jitsu. I tell them, like, life's like jiu-jitsu, just being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So I think everyone can do it and should do it. It doesn't have to be a routinely thing, but I feel like at least you know what it's like to get out there, because lots of times, you know, you could have those guys that like, oh, I would have done this different. I would have, okay, well, why don't you go out there and show me, you know? So it gets humbling to everyone.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your competition experience. You've competed before, right?
Yeah.
Are you planning on coming back? I know there's a lot going on with the shoulders, but...
Yeah. So I've been doing PT for about a year now. And I'm training a lot now and, you know, doing everything I'm supposed to do. But I used to compete. I've done Europeans. I've done the AZ BJJL out here and in Phoenix College. I've done World League. I've done Naga. I competed more in my purple and brown belt than I did in black belt, because that's when I got everything, like shoulder surgeries and everything done. So it's very difficult to do anything when you can barely take your shirt off, you know? So, but I feel like I want to come back because I have a lot to show. So, you know, it's fun because I watch my guys do what I do, and they do great. You know, I love it. And then if I recommend and I try to, you know, hold the expectation of my students to compete, I don't see why I shouldn't compete either. You know, I can't push someone to do something that I wouldn't do. So I want to get back out there and compete. I think the last time I competed was 2020. No, it was 2022. Europeans, and before that, I think it was here in Phoenix for IBJJF against Matt Gillette too. So
nice,
great guy.
He's awesome.
So, he helped me with my nerves. It was my first black belt match. So,
cool.
Awesome guy.
All right, so tell us about the very first time you competed. How did it go for you?
It went pretty good, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get gold, but I know that. I think it was like a Naga or something. Like, I signed up for it, and I did the whole cutting weight thing. I was like, oh yeah, you know, when you're a white belt, you're like, you think you're like awesome, you know, like, yeah, my competition. So like, I was cutting weight, and I did actually really well. I took second in gi and first in no gi, and it's just, you always learn. Like I remember the same friend that is a black belt in Chicago. He was like, I got caught in an armbar and I lost my match in gi. And he's like, you can't leave your arm out there. And I was like, oh, okay. But, you know, I was super happy. And from then on, I was just like, all right, let's compete more and more and more. And it was just fun because it's kind of a camaraderie thing. Like you get like 4 or 5 guys that, and I see it here, you know, you get 4 or 5 guys that consistently compete and they're like pushing each other and just like, you know, making each other better. It's iron sharpens iron.
Right.
So, yeah, so it was great. I was late. So like already with anxiety and but it was a thrill. It was very like eye-opening on everything, like how everybody competes. So yeah.
So share with us your competition mindset. Like, what do you think about when you're stepping onto those mats, or what do you say to yourself? Is there something that you share with your students too about that? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like mindset is almost everything, right? I tell my students a lot that, like, especially the kids, the kids are like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous, or like they start crying, like, you know. I know. So it's like I tell them, like, listen, everybody that's here is supporting someone, right? They're not here to watch you lose. They're here to try to watch their child win. They're not focused on what you're doing. Like, your parents are here, your sister, your cousin, whatever. Like, they're here watching you. Like, it's just your family, like, you know, and then it's me and I'll be there coaching you. So, like, really, you're doing this for fun. You're doing this, like, I tell everyone, like, I know it's nervous. Everybody gets nervous, right? It means you care, right? So if you didn't care, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll go do whatever. But you want to win. You know, nobody goes in there to want to lose. Right. And then I tell them all, like, listen, win or lose, like, you're still out on the mats, right? Who cares what anybody says, right? To me, like, I'm not a huge. I used to compete, but now, like, I'm not a huge competitor, and I know I'll never win worlds and stuff like that. But my ambition is to, like, coach. Like, that's my biggest thing. I love to watch other people succeed. I love to teach. So my mindset is, like, when I go in and compete, like, all right, like, I have to get myself psyched up, where I'm just like, it's just me and the opponent. That's it. I'll listen to music or whatever, you know. But I don't worry about anything else. Like, I paid to do this, right? So let's do it, you know. But other than that, I'm not thinking anything crazy. Just, I get nervous, but that's just because it's just part of my personality. You know? So, but I jump on. I try to keep the straightest face. Sometimes I'll even smile when I'm nervous. So it's kind of crazy to look at me like, why are you smiling? Like, he's got something. Yeah. But yeah, just I tell them, like, just go out there and have fun. Like, it's win or lose, you're testing yourself. Yeah. Now you know what you're gonna come back and do different. You know? Do
you offer competition classes here, or is it just, oh, you do?
Yeah. Okay. So Friday nights we have competition class at 6, and it's just drilling. Basically, like, I run a curriculum, and throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll do a certain position, and one day I'll teach one thing, the next day I'll teach one thing and add something, and so on and so forth. And Wednesdays is no-gi, so, like, we'll do stuff without the uniform, the grips, and all that stuff, but it's almost the same thing, right? So then Fridays, we drill it. So I'll set the timer in, kind of like CrossFit type deal, like 1 minute, do as many as you can, and your next partner goes, and, like, just to get that cardio base, like, going, that amped up, like, let's go, you got to move, you know, because no one prepares you for, like, a tournament. You don't know how you're going to act, you know, or how you're, you know, that adrenaline dump. You don't know how tired you get, and it's one of those things that you notice when you finally compete. You're like, oh my gosh, I was so tired after 30 seconds. I had no grips, I had nothing. And it's like,
God, you're taking me back to that feeling.
So it's, you know, it's fun. Everybody loves the competition class. I have a lot of people, and it's open to everyone. Like, to me, I don't feel like and again, this is my own opinion, I don't feel like telling someone that comes from a different school to come try class and everything is like, or like even my guys, I'll tell them like they go to open mats somewhere else, but that's fine. Like you're doing your own progression. That's perfect. That's fine. You know, I'm not going to show you everything. There's going to be things that you learn from somewhere else. So I have people from other schools coming here on Fridays and training with us too. And it's a great time because it gives somebody else a different look at how they do jiu-jitsu and so on and so forth. So our competition class gets really big sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Cool. Do you go over the rule set at all? Like, how do you teach your students that want to compete about the rule set?
I do. That's something that I try to do more, and a lot of guys just want to go for the finish.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, 100%, you know, save your energy.
Yeah.
But I try to explain, or like when we're rolling, or they'll roll with me, I'm like, oh, I got 2 points, you know? Or they'll like sweep me, I'm like, oh, how many points you get? You know? But I think that's a little something that I kind of lack. But I tell the competitors that to help out the others that, you know, don't compete. Don't be in like someone's guard and all of a sudden sit back and because you just lost points, like someone else gained points, all that, you know. It's just the things that we don't know, like because a lot of people like to play guard. So, you know, I have to tell them like, hey, don't do that. You know, you're giving up points, you know. So they try to understand the point system, but once you get out there, it's like, okay, how many points do I need? Okay, I'm down by this. What do I need to do? So I try to have them roll whenever they roll to like count points in their head. Yeah. So, but yeah.
What's one piece of advice that you can give to somebody that wants to compete and is like nervous about it? And
do it.
Do it.
Get out of your comfort zone. Just like you pay to have fun here. If you sign up for a tournament, you see what it's like, you know. It's the only way to test yourself, honestly. Like you get somebody that's your same weight, same rank, same age-ish, you know, and it's like, let's see what I can do. You know, it's if you're really into jiu-jitsu, like, it's the way you can get better because you realize your own opportunities. Right. And just don't hesitate for it. Right. It's and this is a big thing. Like I tell my people, like, hey guys, like if you want to compete, come talk to me, because I don't want to throw you into the wolves either. Like 4-stripe white belt that's ready for a blue belt promotion, and all of a sudden this person's been here for like 2 weeks, and you're like, ugh. Oh no. You know, but you just come talk to me, and then we can see what we can do. We'll set up a tournament that you can go to, and just prepare you for it, because it's, like I said, it's something that you're unprepared for. Like you can prepare as much as you want, and all of a sudden, 20 seconds in the match, you're like, you're gassed, your grips are gone. You're like, why is this happening? I can roll for like an hour at the gym. It's definitely something that you have to experience for yourself. Like everybody could tell you it's nerve-wracking, but until you do it.
It definitely is such a different feeling.
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel like everybody feels the very same way. Like the weights on your arms, and it's like your heart is like coming out of your chest. Like it's crazy.
You're breathing heavy. Like, So I tell them like, we'll try to prepare as much as we can, and I'll let you know like when I don't want you to do it. Like I have people like come here, they start 1 week, and all of a sudden they'll go to a tournament and just watch. I want to do it. Like whoa. Let's teach you a few things first so that you can you know kind of like hold your own. You know. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, so tell us what you're excited about. Is there anything happening here? I know you just opened up the school not too long ago, so what are your plans, if any?
Right now, we're just, you know, preparing for tournaments, doing what we can do. I do have some big news coming down the road. We'll see how everything turns.
What big news?
Oh, that's for you guys to find out later.
Come on.
Oh, I'd love to share, but
man.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Give me a few months.
Okay.
You'll be the first to know.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so hopefully if everything works out well, we'll have some news to share, and then for the rest of the year, I think it's just like getting ready for competitions for people that are competing, and then other than that, just try to grow the school, and you know, try to keep my my New Year's resolution on trying to market more. You know?
Yes,
so it's a big deal.
I like that.
It's a big thing. So that's one of the big things. Like, you can put me on the mat and I'll do everything, but then you ask me to do all like the clerical work and the side work.
Yeah.
Like, oops.
Well, you can't do everything.
It's hard,
right?
It's hard.
So.
Well, you know, with it, like I've said before, it takes a village, and
right.
I have good help here, and you know, just count on family and all that stuff. So it's good.
Okay, so we're gonna see you competing for the state in June.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay. I'm seriously gonna wait and see if you signed up. So
all right.
I'm hoping you do.
All right. Well,
okay.
It's out there now, so I guess I'll see whoever's the middleweight.
Cool. Okay, so tell us where people can find you on social media.
At Ric Centron Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy on Instagram, and or R Centron BJJ is my personal one. You can message me there too if you need anything. Want to come try a class. And same thing with Facebook, just my name, Ric Centron Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My website, www.riccentrionbrazilianjiu-jitsu.com. Yeah, those are the best ways to find me. So, or come to Chandler and try a class. Come do the competition class if you guys feel like coming down and, you know, training hard. So we have a lot of guys that like to compete, and women too. Like, my women's class, that's one thing I kind of want to grow this year.
Yeah, you had a couple women in class last night. That was cool.
Tough girls.
I mean, it's grown a lot. Like, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was the only girl.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's not like that anymore. You can always find like a
place that has a
3 to 4 girls at least.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. And I think the whole thing of, you know, women being able to like train hard and do the same thing, sometimes they're even more exciting to watch than guys. Like, something as UFC, like, I love watching the women fight. They go
throw
hard.
down, right?
They go so
even more
hard.
than the guys. That's crazy.
So it's fun to watch, like, the women seem grow and their confidence level. Like, a lot of people like come in here and do jiu-jitsu, even kids and stuff. Like, everybody, you know, you can see the shy ones or the ones that kind of lack a little bit of confidence. All of a sudden, like 3 months later, they're like the talkative ones. They come in here with a big old smile on their face. What's up, coach? You know, stuff like that. So
and I feel like for you as an instructor, you get to see that growth from like white to black.
Oh yeah.
Of like the individual. So that is so cool.
It's
actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's fun to watch. It's definitely fun to watch. And from their first, you know, tournament to like now, you're like, you think back. Wow. Yeah. They've grown a lot. Like. Yeah,
and then they see you like a superhero. Ric Centron, the superhero.
Hopefully. Yeah. That'd be great.
Awesome. Well,
mechanical shoulders.
Thank you so much for your time. This is awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And yeah, keep crushing it.
We'll try.
Okay.